Pretty cool podcast coming at you. Pretty cool podcast coming at you. Pretty cool podcast coming at you right here, right now.
The Pretty Cool Podcast would rather exist solely in virtual reality than reality.
Welcome to the Pretty Cool Podcast. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Austin.
And I'm Justin.
This is episode 1 of the podcast. You could say it's our pilot podcast, and we're happy that you're joining us.
Okay, you guys need to explain to me what a millennial is, because I'm not 100% sure on this.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
So in order to be a millennial, you have to vape. You have to own a hoverboard.
Yeah.
You have to wear 5-panel hats and have at least 1,000 followers on Instagram. Otherwise, you're not a millennial.
Have you ever owned Heelys?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, that's also vital.
Yeah. So do we want to get into what it means to be a millennial today?
I mean, I suppose.
Yeah. Justin?
I'm down.
Justin's down. Let's do this.
All right, I'll set the scene. The end of the late 70s. Children who are born will be godless, faithless, vaping fools on hoverboards, using Instagram, leaving humanity with no hope except the AI.
See, that's a false statement, because the hoverboard wasn't really concepted until 1985 when the original Back to the Future came out.
No, I'm talking about the bullcrap hoverboards.
Yeah, the fake ones.
The fake ones with the wheels.
That makes sense.
The one where they don't actually hover.
The ones with the wheels that are battery powered, catch on fire, and kill people.
Look,
Yes.
are there any confirmed kills from that?
Yes.
Sick.
Okay.
So a lot of times I see millennial defined as anybody who's born between, and I've seen a broad range of years, but generally the most generous one is between 1980 and 2000. But I don't really, and I guess this is probably true of the people born in 1980, because they're 36 now.
Yeah.
Right? That seems like, when I think of millennial, I do not think of a 36-year-old.
Go get your walker and cane.
They're like my
bag.
mom's generation, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're kind of on the tail end of being millennials. We're the youngest millennials thereabouts.
Yeah.
'Cause-
4 years before. 5 years
Right.
before.
Yeah, well, a lot of people say 2000, and I think to a large extent that's true, but a lot of what's defined millennialism is what, there's the advent of personal computing, which became really popular, probably, I think, Windows 98.
Yeah.
I think around 1998, that's when everybody started getting a personal computer.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Unless you were my dad, and then you'd been buying Apple since they came out.
Yeah, or like the Commodore 64 or something that.
Yeah.
But after that, you think about kind of the Great Recession, and these are different things that kind of define traits that millennials have developed over the years. A lot of the people who are considered millennials were working during the recession, and so they lost their jobs, or they looked at a bleak job market, or they saw a huge influx of college education and other people going to college around that time, because it was around 2009, 2008.
Some of them lost homes during the crash of the housing
A lot
market.
of them lost homes, but you think, how, and in 2009 I was 14-ish, so I was about to started working at 16. So we felt the effects even back then of the recession in our job, and a lot of times, a lot of millennials would get this sense of almost hopelessness seeing the job market and seeing nobody has jobs, this kind of stuff.
And nobody goes to college, especially in Idaho. Both of us having grown up in Idaho.
Right, yeah. Yeah. And it's, these two, I feel like it's these two things that kind of define the generation, because the millennials have always grown up with the internet.
Yeah.
Internet was invented early 90s, and I was born in 95. You were born in 96.
Yeah.
So we've always had the internet. We've always had cell phones, or we've always had,
Yeah.
like somebody's had a cell phone.
I think they're starting them younger now, but
They're starting. Well, I got one when I was 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Dang,
well,
dang, you started young then.
I lived in the middle of the woods and we didn't have a home phone.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that makes
I'll be
sense.
Yeah, Austin, stay home alone at 10 where a wild bear could break into your house. Or a murderer.
Which
Here's a
obviously
cell
You're
phone.
going to take care of this bear with a cell phone.
With a
Well-
Motorola Razr.
At least, hey, my Razor was my second phone.
Oh, that was my first phone. Was
Was
the
it?
Razr?
Yeah,
Yep, that was
no,
the
that was
first
my second
one.
phone.
My Samsung Juke was my first phone.
I
Oh,
did have-
dang, that was sick.
Juke was my third phone.
You had a red Juke.
I did have a
I
red
had a
Juke.
blue one.
Yeah.
They made blue. I thought they were only in red.
It was baby blue. They also made a silver.
Juke is the one that it was the stick and it like
Yes.
flipped around.
I still have it in that box.
Do
I still
you?
have it
Oh,
at my
man.
house.
That's great.
I was able to take it and flick it and shoot it up to the ceiling. It launches in such a way that it's great.
Wow, that's scary.
I would like to hear
Last
Elon Musk at SpaceX. Just like it launches in such a way that it's great.
The landing, not so much. Wait, they finally landed one
Did
though.
you see
That- they
the
landed
video
one
he
on the
shared?
barge. Yeah.
Huh?
Did you see the video he shared?
Uh-uh.
He shared a video.
Yeah.
With,
Oh, I
I'm on
knew
a
it was
boat
coming.
below in the island.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Playing over it.
Yeah.
I thought it was just great that he did that.
Yeah.
Like, not anybody else in the world.
See, he can get away with it because how old is Elon Musk?
I don't know. Let me Google it. Most important person ever. Let's see.
Yeah, not Jesus.
Not Jesus. He's 44.
He's 44.
He looks good for 44.
Yeah. So he's technically a Gen Xer. So
Yeah.
he's my mom's generation, probably Justin's parents' generation.
Yeah.
But let's see. They're for whatever reason, the word millennial has kind of gotten this bad rap.
Oh yeah.
Like the way
Well, can you blame the older generations?
they just hate us. They're like, those damn millennials. What are they doing?
YouTube. That was us.
They're all they want to do is get famous on YouTube, which is accurate.
It's true.
Yeah, 100%. Every millennial wants to get famous on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
Vine stars.
it's
That's an abomination. Vine stars.
I don't like Vine. I especially don't like it when our friends come and hang out with us. They're like, man, nobody ever wants me to hang out with them.
And then they just
come
show
over,
us Vine.
and then
on...
they sit down and they watch Vine after Vine with no headphones on, which
And then I want to show you every single one of them.
yeah.
It's like
literally
just sit right next to me and I'll watch them at the same time.
One of our friends went through his whole feed, right? And then on the very couch you're sitting on, went through his whole feed,
Yeah.
and then turned to me and made me go through his whole feed.
Yeah.
Austin was there. Austin was horrified.
I
Actually, Austin didn't care. He was playing
was
Counter-Strike.
playing Counter-Strike, but I also hated it because I heard it, and I hate hearing other people watch videos.
Oh, really?
I hate it. When my mom watches videos or edits videos or anything like that, I'm like, Mom, you should get a pair of headphones. She's like, no, I'm okay. I'm like, no, really, you should, because you can hear stuff better or whatever. She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like,
You're selfish.
Well.
it's funny. Millennials develop this kind of this connotation to it, a lot like the word Mexican. With the word Mexican, you're literally just describing somebody from Mexico.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and this is true, if you don't think this is true, then you don't live in the right areas of America, because there are certainly areas where you say, oh, that person's a Mexican, and there's automatically this click in somebody's head. They're like, they're not supposed to be here. They're illegal.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Yeah, they're illegal, or they're lazy, or something like that.
There's a little less of that up here because we are bordering Canada.
Right, and we don't see a lot of Hispanics.
Yeah, we
The
don't
Mexican-
have like the workers and things
Yeah,
like that.
we don't have, like in southern Idaho though. There's a decent Mexican population.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're Mexican. Oh, I mean, sorry, I mean you're Hispanic. They're like, no, it's cool. I'm from Mexico. It's okay.
You
to
can be
call me
white
Me-
and be from Mexico. Like
Yeah.
if you were born there and your
It's like-
parents are like,
It's like, it's okay. You can call me Mexican. It's not a bad word. And I'm like, it's not?
it's like American.
I thought the correct word was Hispanic for everyone. It's like, well, that's no. No, you're just. I mean, it's kind of racist for you to even think that. Is it
So-
Imgur or Inger?
So I say Imgur. I don't think it matters.
Is it
I call Armgar.
Is it Jif or Gif?
It doesn't matter.
Oh no, stop. Yeah.
It's Jif. Okay, so there's an oatmeal comic about that.
Is
You
that?
can see it. Yeah, I think it's a...
Graphics. Good.
What?
okay.
Don't call it a JPEG.
No, don't. You don't call it a JPEG
I don't call it a JPEG.
That's what I was about to get to. Was you don't call it a JPEG?
because it's Joint Photography something group.
Yeah, but there's no H.
What?
There's no H in JPEG.
Well, there's no graphic on G.
But there's a G and an I, so you say giraffe, but you say GIF.
We're saying that the context doesn't matter.
The context
Read a
doesn't
book.
matter.
The context of the word doesn't matter in abbreviation.
Oh, I guess it's not oatmeal.com. It's probably
It's theoatmeal.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what oatmeal.com is. Don't go there.
For the love of God, have mercy.
If you want to go look at that comic, it's theoatmeal.com/comics/GIF. GIF.
Yeah.
And you'll kind of understand how everybody feels about it. But
Anyways.
back to being a millennial.
Back to being millennials, from talking about the end of ages debate of GIF or GIF.
Right. Yeah.
We'll get out of that and be millennials now.
Absolutely. So, millennial is just a word to describe somebody born between the years of 1980 and 2000.
Mhm.
But it has become a dirty word.
Mhm.
There's this automatic connotation you get that millennials are, they're all like hyper liberal, social justice warrior, but also too lazy to work and too lazy to care, irresponsible, and all these different things, just because we were born in a 2-decade span.
Yeah.
Which, that's like saying everybody from California is a pot-smoking hippie just because they were born in California, which may or may not be true. I can't confirm or deny. I don't have the stats on that, but
Absolutely.
So there's this quote by her name's Chelsea Cross. She's the co-founder of Impulse, which is a marketing agency focused on targeting millennials. And this is out of, I believe, an article I got on Forbes about the idea that is millennial a dirty word. And she says, to set the record straight, the word millennial is not a dirty word. Unfortunately, the millennial generation has been labeled with stereotypes like lazy, entitled, and narcissistic, which has created confusion and frustration amongst many millennials and generations prior. This generation is often misunderstood, and the millennial hustlers of today don't always get the recognition or credibility they deserve because we tend to fixate more on the negative than the positive about this demographic of people. Millennials are a generation unlike any before, and we are pioneering new methods in the workplace, technology, and ways of communicating that will have a great impact on our near future. It's crazy to me to think that we can define 80 million people with 3 negative stereotypes. Instead, I believe millennials are entrepreneurial, innovative, liberal, and charitable. So you think of successful millennials now. I think the big one I think of is Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that's the first one that came to mind.
Right.
For me, yeah.
Oh, what was that? 2003, 2004. He was in Harvard.
Yeah,
So-
which is already insane.
Already insane.
You have to think about that too. Is everyone in an Ivy League school right now is a millennial?
It's true. Yeah. Even in graduate school, they're all they're
all the up and coming doctors.
Absolutely. Yep, they're all millennials. So the idea that millennials are lazy or entitled, narcissistic, maybe more or less. Honestly, I think every generation is narcissistic, though.
Yeah, it varies.
Because who named the greatest generation? Right?
What?
The generation between 1900 and 1920, who named them the greatest generation? It was probably them, right? Whatever.
I mean, eventually, probably our generation or the next generation will be considered the greatest because we're going to solve problems like colonization and things like that.
And clean water.
And clean water and solar-powered cars.
And energy...
energy efficiency, basically.
Efficiency, all this kind of stuff.
We'll I don't know if our generation will do it because we're on the East Coast, or West Coast, and we have the benefit of everything being hydro and wind powered. On the East Coast, it's a whole different story because everything is fossil fuels.
Yeah, it's all
over
coal
there.
powered.
So it's like that's a mess that has to be untangled over
Right.
there, and it's easy for like Tesla over here
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah. And so, Justin,
What's up?
do you want to find out how millennial you are?
Yeah.
Cool. So the Pew Research Forum, they have a quiz on their website called "How Millennial Are You?" and it's about. It was created in 2010, but it's still recording data from people who are taking it now, and it asks a series of 15 questions. So we're going to run through them real quick with Justin. Andrew and I have both already taken it.
we will disclose our scores at the end.
Right. In the past 24 hours, did you watch more than an hour of television programming or not?
Yeah.
So, yes. Andrew, what did you say on that one?
No,
Yeah, I hadn't in the last 24 hours.
I had it, and then a little bit after I took the quiz, I watched Scrubs on Netflix
Yeah,
for like an hour.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know how it distinguishes between, because this is 2010, about 6 years ago, Netflix streaming and streaming in general was
Yeah,
not
it
nearly
was
as big
not,
as it is
yeah.
now. So I wonder how they'd take that into effect, whether they count Netflix streaming or you specifically have to be watching cable or Dish or something
Who
like
knows?
that. Yeah.
But yeah,
After the next question.
Oh, I do. Okay. In the past 24 hours, did you read a daily newspaper or not?
No.
No. Yeah. All right. Had you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because of work.
I read it at work. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the break room.
But we don't even get the paper anymore. Do you guys get the paper?
What?
At your house, do you get the paper?
Oh no,
You get the paper? Yeah.
no,
In the past 24 hours, did you play video games or not?
No.
No.
me neither.
Yeah. I think, but that's kind of like
That fluctuates.
that fluctuates because I'll
get into the mode and I'll play a bunch
Yeah.
at once.
Yeah,
and I'll
there'll be weeks where I play the whole week, or there'll be weeks where I don't play for 2 weeks straight, or something like that.
Yeah.
Thinking about your telephone use, do you have only a landline phone in your home, only a cell phone, or both a landline and a cell phone?
I'm only a cell phone.
Just a cell phone, which is the same for me.
Same for me.
Yeah,
The landline.
yeah. We haven't had a landline.
I haven't had a landline since 2010.
When did I move? Since 2000.
Dang.
Yeah, we haven't had a landline since 2000. My mom and I were on that. Like,
Well, yeah.
we're like, forget it. What's the point? So, in the past 24 hours, about how many text messages, if any, did you send or receive on your cell phone?
50 or more.
50 or more?
Yeah.
I was 10 to 49.
I was 10 to 49. I think it was, I usually run around probably 20 a day.
Yeah, I probably run.
It
I
depends.
probably usually run over that.
It
but-
depends. I can be anywhere from 5 if nobody wants to talk to me to 40 if a lot of people want to talk to me, which is
Yeah.
never, so just 5.
I've been working like the last 24 hours when I had worked 2 shifts if you counted both 24 hours, so I wasn't doing very much.
Justin, how important is being successful in a high-paying career or profession to you personally?
Somewhat important.
Well, important, that's what I put too.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that important that I have a high-paying
what-
career, but I want a career that will support what I want to do.
I did the second highest. What was that?
Very important, but not the most.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
but I want to be successful in my given career.
Right.
So I kind of care that it pays decent, pays me comfortably, but I don't care that it pays me a ton of money. I just want to be successful in it. I want to be recognized in it.
Yeah, I just have the understanding that a job will always suck, even if it's your dream job. So it's just kind of like, I just want to make money. Not a very millennial statement
That's
there.
actually a very millennial statement.
Is it really?
Yeah, every millennial
I would
thinks
think-
their job's supposed to suck.
Okay, so I would think with all the Instagram stuff, it's like everyone is all the Instagram stuff is just like, oh, I just want to follow my dreams.
Yeah,
But it's like,
yeah.
oh, I just want to make money. I don't care.
Just make money. just something to get me
Screw the
through.
dreams.
Yeah.
I'll do that on the side.
Justin, do you think more people of different races marrying each other is a good thing for society, a bad thing for society, or doesn't make much of a difference for society?
We're all pink on the inside, so I don't really care.
That I actually put the same thing. Doesn't make much of a difference.
Yeah,
for
I
society.
said doesn't make much of a difference because I feel like either way is a little racist.
Yeah, if you say it's good that there's misogyny, then it's like,
I mean,
well, what's wrong with white people? And
or what's wrong with just pure black people or pure white people, whatever it is.
Yeah. So
Like, it doesn't matter.
I think I want to get into race some other time.
The Race is pretty cool podcast coming to you soon.
Yes, we'll save that for the race podcast.
The Race podcast.
Yeah.
Each podcast will be us tackling
No,
world
just
problems.
one podcast dedicated to race.
Oh, it's just a separate podcast series, and each episode
okay.
we'll dedicate each episode to a different race.
That'll be season 2 of the Pretty Cool Podcast. The Amazing Race, Pretty Cool Podcast.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah,
okay.
that sounds about right.
Or the Pretty Cool Race.
Justin, get on. You should park the Amazing Race on everything.
Park it now.
Park it now.
Get that trademarked. All right, Justin. In the past 12 months, have you contacted a government official or not? This contact could have been in person, by phone, letter, or by sending an email, or posting a message on their website or social networking page.
Well, what's it for? Because I've had to talk to a bunch of people in the military in the last year for work.
Is that
Doing design and graphics works for them.
are they government officials? Like,
Well, no, I
think
guess
they
they're
mean-
not. They're not.
I
Have
think
you
they
contacted the sheriff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
For-
a government official. He's an elected government
for
official.
non-business?
Yeah, for personal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I
that-
think
that
that'd be
counts.
yes for you.
Who's it? It's Wolfinger?
Ben
Yeah, Ben
Wolfinger,
Wolfinger.
Yeah.
He's up for re-election. So.
Is it?
Is up for re-election.
I don't know things
No,
about the
that was-
sheriff.
No, it's every 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I think.
He was elected last year, so
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was.
yeah.
I put no. I didn't contact a government official.
I had neither.
I don't have a lot of run-ins.
I'm pretty not political.
Apolitical.
I'm pretty apolitical, yeah.
And that's another thing.
That's a millennial thing.
That's
yeah.
a very millennial thing because a lot of the older generation, they pride themselves in being generally pretty conservative, or if they're not conservative, they're very outspoken
Really
the other
liberal.
way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
really liberal. Whereas millennials, they do skew, the younger people do skew liberal.
Yeah.
But even bigger portion, I think, is more apolitical.
Yeah, there's a lot more people who just aren't interested.
Yeah, they're kind of tired of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when Facebook was on the rise with our generation and political stuff was up and coming on there, it was so rough.
That's
If you
the worst. I
like,
think that's what made me hate politics, actually.
yeah, same for me. Like
think
I was interested for a long
I
time.
think it really did. Yeah, I used to, especially in high school, I was very political.
Yeah.
I had very set beliefs, watched a lot of specific programming and specific books. And I'd get into these arguments on Facebook arguments just ruin everything.
Yeah.
And so I'd get into those arguments, and then I'd just be like, I don't know.
And granted, I've moved on to more like world politics is a lot more interesting to me.
Yeah,
Like world economics
Sure. yeah.
or like the European Union, that sort of stuff is interesting.
Yeah, I
to
still
me.
find economics interesting. Justin, back to the quiz. We're on question 9 of 15. Have you ever created your own profile on any social networking site, such as MySpace, Facebook, or LinkedIn?
Yes.
Ah, interesting.
strange.
Big shocker.
Social networking? What's that?
You sicko.
So there's a Pew Research document where they did all these studies. This is back in 2010 when they did this, and it asked how many people were on social networking and how many millennials. I think it was like 7 out of 10 or something
Oh my
like that
gosh.
in 2010.
In 2010.
In 2010, right? And that was, I mean, social networking, that was when it was experiencing its boom, but still not everybody quite gotten on there.
And some people weren't allowed to.
And some
as
people weren't
kids.
allowed,
Yeah.
but I think millennials are at the point, I think almost every millennial is an adult now.
Yeah.
And
It's a year. If you were born, do
I
we
just
count?
don't
Do we
count-
count the year 2000?
I just don't count people born in 2000.
I don't.
I don't.
I would
Or 99.
What's it called? What's that generation named?
I don't know. They didn't
Well-
name millennials until 98.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Shoot, like I had this charismatic kid tell me one time that our generation was called. He was like, "Do you know what our generation is called?" I'm like, "Yeah, millennials." We were like 9, and he's like, "No, we're called the silent generation." I'm like, "No, we're millennials." And he's just like,
No, that was
the silent generation.
the silent generation was a different one.
Yeah, I'm like, wrong one.
They've been there, done that.
That happened already.
Yeah. But I think back into it's got to be over 95% now on social media of some sort. So
yeah,
Facebook or Twitter
yeah.
or not MySpace.
MySpace is just musicians now.
Yeah, I mean,
Except for me.
You still use MySpace?
No.
Am I in your top 8?
I have the new MySpace though.
I joined.
I got it right away as soon as like JT pushed it out.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
me too.
cool.
Me too. I was like, JT's cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool, JT.
Yeah,
I got an invite to the beta like before I was ready.
Yeah, I had gotten on the beta too. I think it was Tristan. Tristan sent me an invite because it was invite
yeah.
only.
Yeah, Tristan sent me one
Matt
too.
Whitehall invited me.
Oh, Matt.
So, at this point, we're a lot more connected than in 2010. We're like everyone's on social media.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the
It's
things.
been 6 years.
That's the thing that defines millennials, I think.
Yeah.
They're all connected over the internet in some way.
It's so weird because never before has anyone in history been in a different city from another person and gone, I wonder what their hair looks like right now, and they can just Snapchat and immediately see it.
Yeah.
Or just, I want to send them a picture of me with a dog face on it, and Snapchat and immediately see it.
Yeah.
And if you had sent that to someone back in the olden days, they would have lynched you.
Yeah, you would have been tried and convicted as a witch and burned at the stake.
Yes.
And who could blame you? Honestly, what's the point?
Yeah.
You're a waste of space at that point. Just make you firewood.
Full disclosure, I'm for it now.
10 out of 15. How important is living a very religious life to you personally?
One of the most important things.
One of the most important things.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't want to say religious. Like,
okay, so that's another thing.
Yeah.
I'll stop you there.
That was the only thing I read.
Yeah. So another thing the Pew Research, and this is going off. The Pew, it's like hand in hand with the document. It's like a 100-page document. Actually, a really interesting read.
Yeah, I was flipping through it.
Yeah, but it said that an equal amount of millennials were spiritual as the previous generation, but much fewer wanted to call themselves religious.
Yeah, be a part of organized religion, attend church regularly.
Religion. Yeah. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. For some of you who are unaware, having grown up in like a non-denominational church, all of us, non-denominational Christian Protestant church, there's like this expression and this stigma towards the word religious. So even if you are like religious, you don't use the word religious.
Yeah, you're supposed to say,
I'm a it's a relationship, not a religion.
Yeah. It'll be the idea that I'm in a relationship with Jesus, but I'm not religious. I have this spiritual life. I follow this set of rules, but I'm not religious.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they do that.
There's passages in the Bible that are just straight up like in James at the end of James 1 or 2.
Bible verse in James talks about what true religion is, and that is taking care of widows and orphans.
Mm-hmm. Like religious discipline. Right,
and religious discipline. And there's this weird stigma about that in evangelicalism, for whatever reason, that you can't say that you're part of a religion, even though Christianity is a religion, Catholicism, Protestantism, these are all religions. But for whatever reason, you can't say that you're that. You have to be a Jesus follower or in a relationship with Jesus. You can't call yourself a Christian. You just love Jesus.
And I think it's in part just another way that we're trying to avoid labels, even though labels can be a good thing.
Right, and even more so, you can redeem those labels.
Yeah, absolutely.
From going, because there might be this stigma with Christians, but if you adopt that stigma if you adopt the label, then you can change that stigma by being a better person.
By being a better person.
Yeah.
I think it was Gandhi, but like be the change in the world that you want to see. Was that Gandhi?
Sure.
We'll go with Abraham Lincoln.
It was Gandhi.
We'll go with Abe Lincoln.
Yeah,
Good
it
old
was
honest
Abe
Abe.
Lincoln, Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on the internet, so
We'll attribute that quote properly in the linked up.
absolutely. Check out the show notes. The proper quote.
There will be an explicit apology for Andrew's historic illiteracy.
Absolutely, yeah. Nonetheless, you'd say a very religious life to you is very important to you personally, one of the most important things.
Yeah.
I think, it depends where you're at. Millennial in the South, you'll probably get a lot more. It's still the Bible Belt down there.
Yeah.
Very much so. Up here in the Northwest, we tend to be godless. The Northeast also tends to be godless.
Yeah.
But you still have, America's breadbasket, kind of the Midwest is still pretty religious, and the South is still pretty religious.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you disagree?
Well, I was just thinking like Southern California, Nevada.
Oh, that's not the South.
What? Oh, well, I thought you were talking about like Southwest.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
Tinseltown is still godless as it gets.
Tinseltown is where it's at.
Justin, were your parents married during most of the time you were growing up or not?
My biological parents or my step parents?
I would go with biological parents. I think that's they were thinking divorce.
And includes divorced, separated, widowed, or never married.
My parents were never married, but my mom and my stepdad got married when I was 7.
So so I'd have the same answer. My parents were never married, and Andrew grew up in a married home. His parents are still together.
Church boy.
But I grew up in the church.
Justin did when he was older.
No, I was 4.
Yeah. Oh, really?
That was about. I think I was about 3 or 4 when my mom started taking me to church.
Okay.
Yeah. Question 12 of 15. Do you have a tattoo or not? No. I do. I have a couple tattoos.
Yeah. I have none.
Andrew has no tattoos.
Church boy.
Huh?
Church boy.
I actually had a friend today text me and ask me where I got my tattoos done. So, and we have another friend who's getting a tattoo done Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Dean's getting his on Saturday.
Joel's gonna get his in June.
Yeah. So I mean, we're all millennials, and it's very prevalent.
Yeah, it's very prevalent, and it's like, it's funny. I'm almost sick of hearing it when a millennial is just like, "Oh, I hate that I have to hide my tattoos at my day job," and you're just like, "You work at Subway, like you make sandwiches."
Well, okay, so Jimmy John's finally.
Did they?
Yeah, they used to have,
well after you had quit.
Right. They used to have a very strict no tattoo, no piercing other than earrings. Policy, and they just changed it to become more accepting of it, and I think that's going to become more and more popular because. Basically, everybody, all the millennials have tattoos, right?
Yeah.
And so it's going to be increasingly hard to find good talent without tattoos.
Yeah.
Because, and that's another issue.
We're shifting towards a more like a subjective career sort of job scene, anyways.
Kind of corporations are removed. We're becoming almost less corporate.
Yeah, you look at the big corporations are like Facebook and Google and
right, and they're all very supportive of self-expression and all this kind of stuff. And so you are,
happy employees work harder.
Happy employees
work
proven. Harder.
And
and by removing the stigma that you have when you're interviewing somebody and they have tattoos, you're like, oh, they're bad people, they do drugs, they're punks, all this kind of stuff. If you remove that, then you can kind of see through that and look and find out that these people have talent, they're artistic, all these kinds of things. So you get a much bigger access to the talent pool that way.
You're restricting a huge group of people over a very small aesthetic.
Right. If you've been to Portland.
Yeah, everyone in Portland has a tattoo.
Yeah, you literally can't.
I'm pretty sure there's a tattoo parlor at every road entrance to the
Yeah,
city, and as soon as you drive in, and they're like, "You live here," and you're like, "Yeah." They just
You show a tattoo, it's like your pass.
yeah, it's usually like a tree or something like
Yeah, a
that.
tree or birds or a feather,
Yeah. So a cup of coffee.
cup of coffee. Yeah. Just does not have sex. Do you have a piercing any place other than your earlobe or not? No. And I think so. Justin doesn't do piercings. Andrew had his ears pierced.
And then I lost them, and then I found them in my car last month.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so they fell out of because I put them in my coat pocket,
Oh, yeah.
and there was a hole in it, and so they
Yeah.
fell out. I thought they fell out like on the sidewalk or something.
Yeah.
Found them in my car. They fell out into my car.
So this question is asking if you have a piercing in a place other than your earlobe or not.
Which would be like a nose ring,
Right,
typically.
but for men generally they don't. You still don't see nose rings on guys a lot.
Yeah.
You see the occasional septum piercing or the occasional,
Eyebrow.
nose ring.
Yeah, like a good hoop. Oh yeah, I see eyebrow piercings a lot for
On
some
guys?
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand
I see
why.
them a lot.
I don't know. I don't know about younger guys like millennial guys. I don't know if I see
I
that as
usually
much.
see them on younger
Yeah.
guys.
But it's becoming a lot more common for guys to pierce even their ears.
Mhm.
And I don't think this question targets guys and girls, because girls you see a lot more than nose piercing. That's a very millennial thing. Is that's becoming more
That's like
more accepted.
a lot of girls have nose piercings.
It's very fashionable now.
yeah, and it looks cool.
It does look good. Yeah, I mean, and obviously we're millennials saying that.
Yeah,
So-
that's true.
So, call sheep or whatever,
It
but
looks good despite your grandmother disowning you.
that's very true. I have a friend whose parents wouldn't let her move back in because
Because her piercing.
her nose piercing, and then she just got a full sleeve,
Oh man.
and they're very upset about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I know, it's crazy.
That's That,
But then there's people like my grandma who doesn't. My grandma's a very
Yeah.
traditional person.
Yeah.
You know Connie.
yeah.
You
The-
know Connie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with like the traditional route, I guess. And I work at a grocery store, and I have everyone buys groceries,
Right.
and so I have a lot of like Catholic, Mormon, homeschool families come in, and their kids are all really traditional, and they're cool kids.
Mm.
And even though they're millennials, they're nothing like millennials.
But
They're the exception.
the my grandma, she's super traditional, but at the same
Yeah.
time she likes my tattoos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's not inherent. That's the other thing is just because you're an older generation, there's not inherent hate for millennials there.
Right. It's yeah.
Even despite millennials liking to think so.
I think older generations who have grandkids that aren't asshats,
Yeah.
they kind of
Appropriate use of the word asshat.
they kind of like
Props.
they like millennials a little better.
Yeah.
They understand there's some nuance to it.
Yeah.
And there are trends with millennials because there is a certain way we grew up, and there's these technologies that we had access to, but at the same time, that's not the rule.
Yeah.
It's not a hard and fast rule that you can apply on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin, in general, would you describe your political views as conservative, moderate, or liberal?
Conservative.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I put liberal.
I put moderate.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I consider
it was
myself
between
moderate.
those. It was between those two for me.
Yeah, I consider myself moderate. I think,
I was considering world politics, and I was like, liberal, I guess.
well, this is America, so
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
That's
I guess
really
I should
important
put
one.
conservative if that's how I feel.
Yeah. You just said those words.
Moving on.
It automatically changes. Your score just drop points.
And the final question, we're almost wrapping up here. Finally, please tell us your age so that we can see how people in different age groups score on the quiz.
19, so 18 to
18 to 29. So, Justin, you are only 70 of a millennial. The average millennial gets 73 on this quiz.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So Austin and I are just particularly millennial.
Yeah, we embody millennial.
What did you score?
I got a 92.
I got a 90.
I think I got a 92 because I put moderate and not liberal, and I think I also put that I don't care about mixed race
Yeah,
marriage.
I put that too.
as opposed to thinking it's good for society.
I just don't see how it's good or bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like okay, that's fine.
And honestly, as soon as we start, once again, this will be repeated in the race
The
podcast.
race podcast, yeah.
But as soon as we start disassociating good and bad with skin color, the sooner we're past some of our problems.
Right. I think another aspect that millennials are they're more apt or they're more inclined to is being open to change.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Because millennials grew up. I remember everything. You know, as a kid, everything is constantly evolving. Like especially technology.
At our age specifically.
Our age specifically, I remember.
I had a Walkman as a kid, and now I listen to music transferred on beams of light.
I had a tape player. I had that vinyl player behind me. That I had that as a kid, and I listened to the Lion King soundtrack on that.
Oh, do you still have it?
No, and then we have cassette. I used to listen to the '80s metal band Night Ranger on cassette in the car, and I still use CDs, but I use my iPhone, iPod MP3 player. All this stuff is constantly changing when we're kids. And at the same time, we have world politics changing around us because when I was 6, like 9/11 happened, and everything went from hunky-dory, everyth's awesome, late 90s, you think like...
Bill Clinton just had all of his awesomeness.
Yeah, Bill Clinton just got some, and...
We're all so happy for him.
And Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Backstreet Boys and NSYNC were alive and
they're
well.
Alive and well. And then
Yo-yos were a thing.
And then you hit 2001, and then everything changes. You have Green Day, you have George Bush.
Oh, no. Well, you can't have Green Day without George Bush.
It's true. I think George Bush is the reason Green Day is
rich.
Is rich, yeah.
Yeah.
They're the reason they were nominated for Album of the Year in 2004.
Actually, Green Day started in like the late 80s.
Yeah, but when did they
They were
big?
Dookie.
No, but like when did they become world famous Green Day?
American Idiot. Which was written about George Bush.
Absolutely.
George Bush was American Idiot.
Right.
He was the American Idiot.
Right. Dude, The Little Rascals is on
I watched
Netflix.
it last night.
The new one?
The original.
Yeah, the 90s one. No, not the original.
Not the original one.
The original.
The original one is from like
The original.
2,000 years ago.
Yeah, 2000. Like,
I'm pretty sure.
the year one, the year of our Lord, Jesus Christ.
Pretty sure Augustus Caesar was featured in that one.
Yeah. Alfalfa was actually Ben-Hur.
They were the original millennials.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Thank you for listening to the Pretty Cool Podcast. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Austin.
Justin.
And we are pretty almost cool.
We might see you next week.